Hi there, I'm Dr. Krupka, and hopefully you've made it through the first two gastrointestinal videos. Now you're on to gastrointestinal top 10 tips. This is the good stuff. This is what you do on a regular basis to keep your intestinal tract and your upper GI tract functioning appropriately and not having the problems that we talked about in the GI dysfunction video. So, we're going to start with probiotics. These are the bacteria that make up the normal flora in your intestines. These are the good guys. Taking these on a regular basis helps maintain the correct environment in your intestinal tract. Yes, you can get these as a supplement. They come in powders, liquids, capsules, gel caps, pearls, you name it. They're out there. Originally, we used to eat fermented foods that contained the right type of probiotics. It is difficult to find fermented foods that really do a good job of that these days, so people take them as supplements, and I think that's appropriate. The right balance of normal flora can prevent gas, irritable bowel syndrome, and several other issues that stem from dysbiosis, like we talked about in the previous video. So, probiotics, very important. Take them regularly. Prebiotics. Yes, this is different than the first slide. This is the food that feeds the probiotics. And you can get this from a variety of sources: Jerusalem artichoke, psyllium, pectin. The list goes on. It's countless. And these generally are digested by the normal flora or fermented into short chain fatty acids. And those are fuel for the enterocytes, or the cells that line the digestive tract. All right, so these are important. Now, in some cases, you can just make sure you eat the right foods. Like, don't eat a bunch of refined sugar. When you eat good quality roughage, so to speak, right, your fruits and vegetables, those become your prebiotics. So consider that as well. You don't have to take prebiotics as supplements. Just make sure you eat the right stuff. That brings us to the next slide. Avoid sugar. Sugar feeds the yeast, candida, fungi. You don't want sugar in there to feed all those. It's like fertilizing the weeds. It promotes an imbalanced intestinal flora activity, lack of B vitamin production, poor short chain fatty acid production, improper pH, and gas. Nobody wants that, right? So avoid sugar. Bad stuff. Keep it out. Avoid taking prophylactic antibiotics. Now, I'm not suggesting that you die because you philosophically don't want to take antibiotics. However, you do not want to take prophylactic antibiotics. Oh, just take it in case. Well, we don't know if this is viral or bacterial, so just take these in case. Make sure you need them before you take them, and only use antibiotics when they're needed. Okay, antibiotics commonly disrupt or kill off the normal flora, hence their name, antibio, right? That's against life. It kills things that live, and it will kill the bacteria that make up your normal flora. These may potentiate the overgrowth of things like yeast and candida and fungus. Yeast and viral infections, fungal infections, are not killed by antibiotics. Okay, and that means if you have a virus and you take an antibiotic, it's not going to fix you. If you have a fungal infection and you take an antibiotic, it's not going to kill it. And if it kills all of the bacteria and not the fungus, then the fungus gets to take over in your intestinal tract. So be aware of that. And it can contribute to developing antibiotic resistance among the bacterial flora. Now, tricky concept to get across here. I'm going to say it quickly. Let me know if you have questions about it. I can give it to you in much more detail. But the bacteria that normally reside in your intestinal tract over time can become immune to antibiotics that they see repeatedly. That in and of itself is not necessarily such a bad thing, right? Then maybe when you take antibiotics, these guys will survive. However, the genetic glitch that allowed them to become impervious to those antibiotics, that genetic information can then be traded like a baseball card with other bacteria that are moving through the system. And you do not want your gut to be a repository of this genetic information to give antibiotic resistance to all these other bacteria that happen to move through your system. Okay, not a good thing. So only take antibiotics when you need them. Don't take them just in case. Avoid food allergens. Continuing to consume foods to which you're sensitive promotes intestinal inflammation. Milk, gluten, and soy are very common in my practice. Testing is available, both IgE and IgG, and in some cases even genetic testing to find out to which you are sensitive. So, if you have been told, wow, you have a gluten sensitivity, you shouldn't eat that, Don't eat that. It makes things worse. All right, so one of our tips is avoid the foods to which you have sensitivities or allergies. Take time to eat. Chew your food. Brand new concept to some of you, I know. You should breathe between bites. Try to have a relaxed environment while you eat. Allow time for your body to complete the digestive process. Avoid antacids if at all possible. And use digestive enzymes if you need to facilitate your body appropriately digesting your food. But take your time. Eat slowly, enjoy your food, allow your body to process it. Very important. Shoving it down your pie hole is not what digestion is all about. Have at least one bowel movement each day. Okay, so it's hard to just kind of will this to happen, okay? But we're going to talk about a couple things. Ideally, you should have a bowel movement about 30 minutes after each meal. I have several patients to whom I tell that, and they say, oh gosh, that would be diarrhea. No, that's the way we're designed to work. The stomach stretches when you eat. That sends a nerve impulse to the intestines to start to contract. Get rid of, when you eat today's lunch, get rid of yesterday's lunch, make room for the new food to come in, right? It only makes sense. Once a day is kind of my minimum in the office. That's what I like to see patients get to. I have patients that come in that, I mean, they're having a bowel movement once a week, once every 10 days. If I can get them to once a day, we've done them a huge service. Try not to use laxatives unless absolutely necessary. Constipation is a serious and difficult problem. Get it addressed professionally. Whether you see me, whether you find a functional medicine practitioner somewhere near you, because I know we have fans of this that are all over the country, find someone near you that's a functional medicine practitioner. Get your constipation dealt with. This is not something to take lightly. You need to have at least one bowel movement a day, more if possible. So take heed. Look at your stool. Don't be shy. Go ahead and look. Know your stool quality. You should know your regular color, size, smell. Does it float, sink, whatever. Be familiar with your stool. Know it like the back of your hand. Okay? Because any sudden or significant changes in your stool quality can be a signal that there's a problem. It's like knowing the gas mileage on your car, or knowing the noises your car makes. If it does something different or out of the ordinary, you need to know that that's a sign that there's a problem. So, know what your stool looks like. Take a look at it every once in a while. No one's looking at you in the bathroom. Just look at your stool. Eat plenty of fiber. We should consume 30 to 40 grams of fiber each day. This is the bulk of your prebiotics that we talked about in slide number 2, or tip number 2 on this. Have a variety of sources: fruits, veggies, legumes, whole grains if you can do that. Some people are sensitive to certain proteins and can't have whole grains. Those of you who are know who you are most likely. But you are looking for a variety of fiber sources. And again, this supports the normal flora in your digestive tract. Drink enough water. You've probably heard the formula. Take your body weight, divide it by 2, and that should equal the ounces of water that you need per day. Generally, this is a good rule. There are some cases where we alter this a little bit. Don't overdo it. But try not to drink all of your water with your meals. Okay? If your stomach has a particular amount of acid and enzyme in there, you throw in a bunch of food, it starts working at it, and then you dilute all that stuff in half with 3 glasses of water. That doesn't help you digest. So drink a little bit with meals so that you can get your food down and get everything moving. But try not to make the majority of your water consumption each day occur with your meals. Drink between your meals for the bulk of your water consumption. And another point worth mentioning in this, many sources will tell you that if you drink a caffeinated beverage, that you should subtract that number of ounces that you just drank from the amount of water you've had today and make up for that yet again when you're drinking water before you get to your total for the day. So if you drink 12 ounces of caffeinated beverage, subtract that from the water you've already had, and then keep working to try to build up your water intake for the day. So in summary, prebiotics are important. Those are the good bacteria. Probiotics are important. That's the good bacteria. Prebiotics are the food for those. Avoid sugar. Avoid prophylactic antibiotics if possible. Avoid food allergens or sensitivities. Take time to eat. Have at least one bowel movement each day. Look at your stool and become familiar with it. Eat plenty of fiber. And drink enough water. So those are your top 10 tips for gastrointestinal health and warding off some of the dysfunction we've talked about. Feel free to contact us. Leave us a note below the video, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.